What if one of history's greatest civilizations broke every rule we thought civilization had to follow? No farms, no domesticated herds. Yet they built permanent villages, created some of the world's oldest pottery, and endured for over 10,000 years. Everything about them defies what we thought we knew about civilization. So why was their story forgotten? And what else has history gotten wrong? For thousands of years, historians believed civilization followed a predictable path. People farmed the land. Permanent villages appeared. Cities rose. Kingdoms followed. It seemed universal. Then archaeologists uncovered a forgotten world beneath northern Japan. Long before the samurai, long before written history, a people had already built permanent communities, mastered remarkable craftsmanship, and developed a rich spiritual culture. Yet they did it without intensive agriculture. Their settlements, artifacts, and sacred sites revealed a society that challenged long-held assumptions about how complex civilizations emerge. Instead of following the familiar path of farming first, the evidence pointed to something far more unexpected. The discovery challenged one of archaeology's oldest assumptions. Who were these people? And what allowed their civilization to endure for more than 10 millennia? Chapter 1. The civilization that shouldn't have existed. Everything about the Jomon seemed to contradict what experts expected. Beginning around 14,000 BCE, communities across what is now Japan began settling in one place instead of constantly moving in search of food. For generations, then centuries, then thousands of years. This wasn't a temporary camp. It became a way of life. At a time when many prehistoric communities still followed migrating animals and seasonal resources across vast distances, the Jomon chose a different path. As the last ice age gradually gave way to a warmer climate, the forests, rivers, lakes, and coastlines of the Japanese archipelago became exceptionally rich environments. Instead of chasing survival from place to place, many Jomon communities learned to live with the rhythm of the seasons, returning to the same settlements year after year until those settlements became permanent homes. Excavations at Sanemurayama revealed hundreds of pit dwellings, storage pits, workshops, and enormous wooden structures built from massive chestnut pillars. Some settlements may have supported populations of several hundred people. The discovery surprised archaeologists. These were not scattered camps abandoned after a few weeks. Families lived, worked, stored food, crafted tools, and raised new generations in the same communities. Constructing massive timber buildings required planning, shared labor, and knowledge passed down over centuries, revealing a level of social organization few expected from a society that relied on hunting, fishing, and gathering. Yet there were no vast wheat fields, no rice paddies, no domesticated herds supporting their survival. Instead, the forests became their pantry. Chestnuts, acorns, walnuts, berries, edible plants, rivers filled with fish, and coastlines rich with shellfish provided an extraordinary variety of food throughout the year. Each season brought new opportunities. Salmon returned upstream in predictable migrations. Shellfish could be gathered from tidal flats. Deer and wild boar roamed nearby forests. Nuts collected during autumn could be carefully processed and stored, helping communities endure the colder months. Rather than depending on a single harvest, the Jomon drew strength from an ecosystem that rewarded patience, knowledge, and careful stewardship. Rather than clearing forests on a massive scale, archaeological evidence suggests they managed and encouraged useful tree species while continuing a hunter-fisher-gatherer lifestyle. Instead of reshaping the landscape through intensive agriculture, they adapted to it. Evidence suggests they encouraged the growth of valuable trees such as chestnuts while allowing forests to remain largely intact. It was a relationship built on balance rather than control, enabling communities to thrive without exhausting the resources around them. It was a different path to stability, and it worked for over 10,000 years. That longevity remains one of the most extraordinary achievements of the ancient world. Across changing climates, rising and falling sea levels, and countless generations, the Jomon adapted without abandoning the foundations of their culture. Their success challenged one of archaeology's oldest assumptions, that permanent civilization could only begin with farming. But surviving was only part of their story. The objects they left behind would force historians to rewrite another chapter of human history. Chapter 2. The Artists Before Farmers. The next surprise came from the ground itself. Clay. For generations, scholars believe pottery emerged because farmers needed containers to store grain. The Jomon told a different story. They were already making pottery thousands of years before agriculture became widespread in Japan. Some of the earliest known Jomon pottery dates back more than 16,000 years, making it among the oldest ceramic traditions ever discovered. Its existence challenged the long-held belief that pottery and farming always evolved together, revealing that innovation could emerge from a very different way of life. If the Jomon could master ceramics before intensive agriculture, then perhaps the story of civilization had never been as straightforward as historians once believed. Their earliest vessels were practical. Pointed-bottom pots rested over open fires, allowing families to cook fish, shellfish, nuts, and wild plants more efficiently while removing natural toxins from foods like acorns. These vessels transformed everyday survival. Boiling food made once bitter acorns edible, softened hard foods, and unlocked nutrients that would otherwise remain inaccessible. Simple clay pots expanded the variety of foods the Jomon could safely eat, strengthening a way of life already deeply connected to the forests and the sea. Boiling food expanded the range of edible plants and made hard-to-digest foods safer to eat. It also helped preserve valuable nutrients, allowing communities to make better use of the rich resources surrounding them. What began as a practical innovation soon became something more. Generation after generation, knowledge of working with clay was refined, turning a survival tool into a lasting cultural tradition. Even their name reflects this achievement. Jomon means cord-marked, a reference to the rope patterns pressed into wet clay before firing. The textured designs were created by pressing twisted cords into soft clay before it hardened. Although they likely began as decoration, these distinctive patterns became the defining feature of an entire civilization. Thousands of years later, those same impressions would become the fingerprints by which archaeologists recognized an entire chapter of human history. The term was introduced in 1877 by American zoologist Edward S. Morse after excavating the Amori shell mounds. His discoveries marked the beginning of modern archaeological research into the Jomon, revealing a culture far older and more sophisticated than anyone had imagined at the time. Beneath layers of shells and soil lay evidence that forced historians to rethink when and how complex societies could emerge. As centuries passed, utility gave way to astonishing artistry. Pottery evolved into elaborate flame-rimmed vessels known as kandoki. Their twisting edges and dramatic forms looked almost alive, resembling dancing flames frozen in clay. Unlike ordinary cooking pots, these extraordinary vessels were likely created for ceremonial or symbolic purposes, though their exact function remains uncertain. Their bold, sculptural forms reveal that Jomon craftspeople were no longer shaping clay merely for survival. They were expressing ideas, beliefs, and identities that still captivate researchers today. No two appeared exactly alike. Curving ridges, sweeping coils, and intricate projections transformed everyday containers into works of art, reflecting a level of creativity that still fascinates archaeologists and artists today. Even more remarkable, these masterpieces were created without kilns. Using open fires, Jomon potters transformed ordinary earth into some of the most distinctive ceramics ever discovered. With little more than clay, water, fire, and remarkable skill, they produced vessels whose bold designs remain instantly recognizable thousands of years later. They stand as enduring evidence that artistic brilliance does not depend on advanced technology. The more archaeologists uncovered, the clearer it became that the Jomon had achieved something far beyond simple craftsmanship. If their pottery revealed extraordinary creativity, their spiritual world remained an even greater mystery. This documentary is based on widely accepted archaeological research and historical scholarship, including findings from UNESCO World Heritage, excavated Jomon sites, and peer-reviewed studies. Some interpretations, particularly regarding Jomon beliefs, rituals, and social practices, remain subjects of ongoing research, but the core evidence presented reflects the current scholarly consensus. Chapter 3: The Faces of an Unknown Belief. Across ancient settlements, archaeologists uncovered thousands of small clay figures unlike anything seen elsewhere. These were the dogu. Some had exaggerated eyes resembling protective goggles. Others displayed broad hips, intricate body patterns, or unmistakable female features. Many appear intentionally stylized rather than realistic. Rather than depicting ordinary people, the figures seem to represent ideas that held deep symbolic meaning. Their unusual forms have puzzled researchers for generations, making them some of the most recognizable artifacts of prehistoric Japan. Every new excavation added more questions than answers, suggesting that beneath the Jomon's remarkable craftsmanship lay a spiritual world that has yet to be fully understood. Their purpose remains one of archaeology's greatest unanswered questions. A remarkable number were deliberately broken before burial. Arms snapped, legs removed, bodies fractured with surprising precision. The breaks do not appear to be random damage caused by time. In many cases, they seem intentional, suggesting the figurines had fulfilled a purpose before being carefully discarded or buried. This repeated pattern appears across numerous archaeological sites, indicating that the breaking itself may have been as meaningful as the creation of the figurines. Why? Many archaeologists believe these figurines may have played roles in healing rituals, fertility ceremonies, or other spiritual practices. One theory suggests illness or injury was symbolically transferred into the figurine before it was broken. Another sees them as representations of fertility, rebirth, or protective spirits. Others caution that their true meaning may never be fully understood. Without written records, archaeologists must rely on patterns in the archaeological evidence, leaving room for multiple interpretations. That uncertainty is part of what makes the Dogu so compelling. Thousands of years later, they continue to guard the beliefs of the people who shaped them, offering clues without ever revealing the complete story. No one knows for certain, but the mystery deepens beyond the figurines. Across northern Japan stand massive stone circles, ceremonial earthworks, graves, and ritual spaces carefully separated from everyday homes. Some stone circles measure more than 50 meters across, requiring careful planning and the coordinated effort of many people to construct. Their scale suggests that ceremonies and shared beliefs played an important role in bringing communities together across generations. These were not isolated acts by individuals, but communal efforts that likely reinforced identity, memory, and social bonds over centuries. These monuments reveal that spiritual life was not a small part of Jomon society. It helped shape the communities themselves. Their beliefs were expressed not only through objects placed in the ground, but also through landscapes carefully shaped for gathering, remembrance, and ritual. Across the settlements of northern Japan, daily life and spiritual life appear to have existed side by side, each giving meaning to the other in ways archaeologists are still working to understand. Yet another discovery would challenge assumptions not about religion, but about human nature. Chapter 4: A different kind of civilization. Many ancient civilizations left behind fortifications, weapons, mass graves, evidence of conquest. The Jomon left a different story. Archaeologists have found remarkably limited evidence of organized warfare across much of the Jomon period compared with many contemporary prehistoric societies. Unlike many ancient societies where defensive walls, large-scale battle injuries, or specialized weapons are common archaeological finds, Jomon sites generally present a different picture. While conflict may have occurred at times, the archaeological record suggests that organized warfare was not a defining feature of much of Jomon life. For a civilization that endured for more than 10 millennia, that absence is as remarkable as any monument they left behind. Their stone arrowheads and spears appear primarily designed for hunting regional wildlife. The forests and coastlines provided deer, wild boar, fish, shellfish, and countless other resources. Hunting and fishing were not simply ways to survive. They were skills refined over generations, passed from one generation to the next through observation, practice, and experience. Their deep understanding of the natural world helped sustain communities without the need for intensive agriculture. Burials also reveal something unexpected. Most graves show relatively little difference in wealth or status. There are no vast royal tombs towering over ordinary people. Instead, communities appear to have lived with comparatively modest social differences. Although some settlements grew larger than others, archaeologists have found relatively little evidence of powerful rulers or sharply divided social classes. Unlike many later civilizations, where status was displayed through lavish tombs and accumulated wealth. The Jomon archaeological record paints the picture of communities whose members were buried with relatively modest distinctions. It hints at a society where cooperation may have carried greater importance than displays of power. Perhaps most moving is the evidence of compassion. Researchers discovered individuals with severe congenital disabilities who survived well into adulthood. In a demanding prehistoric world, survival on its own would have been unlikely. Someone cared for them. Someone shared food. Someone refused to leave them behind. Their survival suggests years of care from family or community members. It is a quiet but powerful reminder that the strength of the Jomon may not have rested solely in their tools or their knowledge of the landscape, but also in their willingness to support those who could not survive alone. Behind every excavated skeleton lies the story of people whose humanity rarely survives in the archaeological record. Then, around 300 BCE, everything began to change. New migrants known as the Yayoi arrived from the Asian mainland, bringing wet rice agriculture, metalworking, and new technologies. Their arrival introduced profound changes across the Japanese archipelago. Farming gradually spread, new technologies reshaped daily life, and different cultural traditions began to meet, interact, and blend. The transformation unfolded over generations rather than in a single moment, marking the beginning of a new chapter in Japan's history. These newcomers introduced new ways of producing food and making tools, gradually transforming life across the Japanese archipelago. Over time, farming villages expanded, populations grew, and cultural traditions blended rather than disappearing overnight. Over generations, the two populations mixed. The Jomon civilization gradually disappeared as a distinct culture, but it did not vanish completely. Ancient DNA shows that the Jomon remain part of the ancestry of modern Japanese people, with even stronger genetic continuity among the Ainu of Hokkaido and the Ryukyuan peoples of Okinawa. Their influence survives not only in genetics, but also in archaeological sites, pottery, ritual objects, and cultural traditions that continue to shape our understanding of Japan's distant past. Every excavation, every fragment of pottery, and every newly analyzed strand of ancient DNA reveals another piece of a civilization that refused to be forgotten. The civilization faded. Its legacy did not. Closing reflection. The Jomon remind us that history is rarely as simple as the stories we inherit. For generations, people believed there was only one path to civilization. The Jomon showed that human societies can flourish in different ways. They built lasting communities, created remarkable works of art, and developed a rich spiritual culture without following the path that many once believed every civilization had to take. Instead of reshaping the land through intensive agriculture, they adapted to the rhythms of forests, rivers, and coastlines, finding stability through knowledge, cooperation, and a deep understanding of their environment. Their story reminds us that resilience is not always measured by how much we change the world, but sometimes by how wisely we learn to live within it. Sometimes the greatest discoveries are not about finding something new. They are about realizing that our old assumptions were never the whole story. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to Mode Hub Tales as we uncover the forgotten histories, hidden cultures, and untold stories that shaped our world. Because history doesn't disappear, it waits to be remembered.